Hi, I'm Lisa Burns, and I'm here to talk to you today about our names for our name speech. Names can be interesting. They can be good or bad. They can define who we are. I was talking to one of my friends at work, and she said that she knew a lady that named her child Harmony, and I said, well, that sounds like a nice name. She said, no, it's spelled H-A-R with a money symbol. And I thought, well, who would do that to their child? What in the world were her parents thinking? Do you feel like you ask yourself sometimes this question when you hear a person's name? I think that your name defines who you are, and it's one of the most important things about you. My first name's Lisa, and when I looked it up, it means God is a vow. It's derived from the name Elizabeth, and I've always liked my name growing up. It was unique, and I was the only Lisa in my class. Most of the people's names were Jennifer, Michelle, or Kelly, and although I thought their names were nice, I liked mine because it was unique. While I was checking out where my name came from, I interviewed my mom, and I asked her where my name came from, and she said, oh, I just like the name Lisa. And I said, well, I'm making a speech. I have to come up with a little bit more than that. I said, did you have a friend named Lisa growing up, and named me Lisa, or were you dying in childbirth, and your nurse saved you, and her name was Lisa? I said, I got to have something. She said, no, I think I got it out of a name book. And I said, okay. So I called my dad. So I asked him where did the name Lisa come from, and he said that they actually knew a couple, and their daughter's name was Lisa. And then one day when they had a little girl, that name kind of stuck with them, so they liked it. So I said, well, at least that was something to go with. My middle name is Faye, and that's my mother's middle name. She named me after her. I never really liked the name Faye. I looked it up, and in English it meant fairy, and in French it meant faith. So that was I liked faith better. My grandmother named her Faye after a actress in the 40s, she said. So that's where she got that from, because I never really understood where they got that from. It wasn't a family name or anything. So I figured, I guess I was lucky, because my poor Aunt Jean, my grandmother's sister, her name was Lula Jean Holman. And if you ever called her Lula, she'd ask you if you wanted to live to see the next day. So she was a really funny lady. By the way, when I was writing this outline last week, I called up Macaroni Grill because I was going to make a reservation for dinner. And when I called, the lady said, thank you for calling Macaroni Grill. This is Lula. Can I help you? I thought I would fall out of my chair laughing, but I was just like, yeah, I need to make a reservation. So then I'm thinking, you know, she's probably in her 20s. She sounded young. And who names their kid Lula these days? So maybe that was my aunt's way of just playing a little joke on me. I did look up Lula, and it was a Gaelic name meaning abundance, lady, and princess. The meanings were actually prettier than her name, though. My last name, my maiden name, was Light. And growing up as a kid, I was never really fond of Light because I would get teased like light bulb, light bright, and kids are mean. So I really never liked it growing up as a kid. When I looked up the meaning, it was a Middle English name. It meant happy or cheerful. It came from the Old English names Leoht, L-E-O-H-T, meaning bright, and there was another one, English, Lioht, L-I-O-H-T. But when I was going into the Army, I was in basic training, and one of my best friends in there was named Debbie Miller, so we hung around all the time, so they nicknamed us Miller Lite. So that was kind of funny. When I got married, my husband's last name is Burns, and I really didn't want to hyphenate it because it sounded too much like a candle, Light Burns. So I just went with Burns, and our children's name are first, second, and third degree. So I looked up, I talked to my cousin, Catherine, who's doing Ancestry.com, and she gave me some information about who my grandfather's parents were on my mom and dad's side. So my grandfather had like 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, and we were talking about humorous names. My uncle's name was Floyd, and his middle name was Daylight. And my grandfather's name was William Morelight, so he was Morelight. So obviously they had a sense of humor. I found out we were also related to Abraham Lincoln through my grandmother's side. It was third cousin 6 times removed, which is too much for me to even fathom. And we were also related to Tom Hanks. So it was pretty interesting going to Ancestry.com and finding some information. For the conclusion, I was talking to my dad, and he told me a joke about a name, so I said, okay, I'll try it. So he said there was a teacher, and she had a 3rd grade class. She was asking her kids what their names were on the first day. So she asked this little girl what her name was, and she said Barn Door. And she's like, what? She said, my name's Barn Door. And she's like, you know, you really irritate me. You're going to have to go to the principal's office if you keep it up. So she's like, my name is Barn Door, and my mom named me that because it was the first thing she saw when she woke up that morning. So she said, you know what, you pulled the last straw, that's it. Go to the principal's office. So she looked over at her brother, she said, come on, chicken shit, it's time to go. That's it. It was nice talking to you guys.
Yay,
That was good. You did really good.
You did do good. That was good.
Doesn't matter if you went over.